Well, hello, Martin County. Welcome back. It's time to take another quick look at some things that are going on this election cycle. And whoo, what an election cycle this is turning out to be. Always fun and games when the voters come out. Hey, listen, we want to talk about a couple of things. First, an update on Indiantown. One, we found out that there's actually the community trust fund out here that FPNL set up with $1 million trust fund. There could be some hanky panky going on with this thing, and it involves two of our local council people, one the sitting mayor and the other Mr. Anthony D. Dowling. Go figure. It concerns a grant that was put out for some new windows in a certain Baptist church in Indiantown a couple of years ago. And here again, rules for thee, but not for me, says Anthony and Jacqueline. Well, guess what? They gave money out to the church to repair some windows, replace them actually. And guess what are still in there? The windows. How long ago? Well over 2 years ago. And what do the rules say? The rules say that, well, we're supposed to get the work done, follow up, and make sure it actually happened the way that the money that was given to the organization. Still hasn't happened. We're going to talk more about that in an upcoming episode as we follow up on some of Jackie Clark's property holdings, her nonprofit dealings, Anthony Dowling and all the rules he doesn't follow, and more rules not to follow. Jackie Clark's illegal signs are still out. Anthony Dowling's got new signs out that they're still illegal, don't even follow campaign law because they don't have the proper messaging on them. Tell you what, guys. Oh, and then we've got little Miss Rosada. Miss Rosada's campaign has stooped to a new low, bringing in outside citizens and their background into the campaign. I guess that's because, well, our polling's showing that she's not even rating 20% amongst the voters against Miss Susan Gibbs Thomas. And we're going to talk more about those polls in Indiantown coming up too. But right now, we want to talk about the Martin County School Board tax referendum. Woo! What a discussion this has turned out to be. And we're going to take a nice deep look at this, and we want to bring you up to speed on some things that are taking place. Now, if you don't know what we mean when we talk about the school board referendum, well, there's a property tax referendum that's about to expire that was put into place in 2018, and they asked us all to give money for the teachers, the poor underpaid teachers that have to take money from their own pockets, Mr. Cratchit. Please give us some money. Well, guess what, folks? They're back at it again, and they're trying to cost justify this. They're trying to cover their tracks. They're saying they're sorry. They've changed the language, but you know what? We don't trust you to begin with. And what are we talking about? We'll talk about Martin's done a couple of articles through our contributor and one of our partners, Martin County Parents United. Some of our watchdog, TAM watchdogs that are on the streets furnished us with a lot of information, some of it insider, and we've exposed the fact that the money that they said they were going to spend on certain things last time, they being the school board and the school district, when they asked us, the voters, to vote for the referendum, well, the money didn't show up where it was supposed to go. It was reallocated. And they said, well, we had good reason. Our funding got cut. We didn't have enough money. Well, you don't have enough money. Why did you go and build a new school board headquarters when the last one seemed to be just fine? I know it was old. It was deteriorated. You didn't need to spend that much time in it anyway. Anyway, what we'd like to do is talk a little bit about the letter to the editor that one of our TAM Watchdog listeners wrote in, and let you listen to it for a second, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about what's going on. So hang on while we grab the letter. We'll be right back. We're going to read that for you. Stand by. There we go. Here it is. Hey, listen, this came in, and I know that I am going to absolutely masticate this young man's last name. I think we're going to hear more from him, though, in the future, but I'm going to try. Let me start by reading his letter to the editor that came into the TAM editorial department, and we went ahead and published it in the public on Facebook and on our site. Woo, we've been spending the past couple of days talking to some hot-headed teachers that think we're not very good people, but let's start with the letter. Over a decade ago, the Martin County Board of County Commissioners encouraged and subsequently won a sales tax increase of 1/2 cent that would be used for infrastructure improvement and repairs, with a subsection to go to parks and recreation for their master plan build-out. What the people of Martin County received was a water park and allegedly improvements to general infrastructure as a whole. Whether it was through intentional misdirection or poor communication, the end result is the same. Martin County residents felt duped. Unfortunately, it would appear the school board failed to learn this lesson from their county partners. On August 23rd, now coming up, residents will be asked whether to continue the current half millage point supplemental tax, a tax that is being billed as a funding of, and we quote, security, mental health services, and some teacher slash staff bonuses for retention and recruitment. The truth is that of the 13.717 million yearly expected tax revenue, 12 million is to be used for recruitment and retention. In fact, less than 1.76 billion is earmarked for security and mental health purposes. It's a shame that the school board would make such a deceptive move. Martin County homesteaded residents are seeing their first next tax bill decrease in 15 years, and the extension of a half millage point would be all but guaranteed to pass with positive economic situation in regards to property taxes. Should the school district have been forthcoming and honest in their intent, this passage would have been a likely slam dunk. Unfortunately, that's not the course of action taken by the school board. There is no doubt that labor influences and the high cost of Martin County living make teacher recruitment and retention difficult. Add in the cost of commuting, and now teachers living in neighboring counties are happier to take lower paying jobs close to home to save on fuel. Frankly, most counties are not lower paying to begin with. Only time will tell if this millage rate will pass, but one thing is for certain. The ends cannot justify the means. Lying to taxpayers is never acceptable, and the ability for the school district to repair this broken trust will likely take considerable time to achieve. Just as the Board of County Commissioners has struggled and generally failed to pass supplemental tax increases after their previous blunder, I now fear the same will befall the school district. I thought the cause was admirable, the action is deplorable, and it is students and teachers who will ultimately pay for this mistake. Mike Sirkis, Palm City, Florida. How'd I do on the last name, Mike? Whew, that's a toughie. Hey, listen, we want to thank you for your contribution and your input on this, and we think that you're spot on. You hit the nail on the head. And you know, every time we try to put this out there to the teachers union and those involved in education, they keep coming back and want to know, what? You don't like the teachers? You don't want your students to learn? You know what, guys? If the best you have is trying to place guilt on the shoulders of a voter, the voter shouldn't vote for you to begin with. You can't show me financially, statistically, or anything else where this is really needed and required. The problem is you've gotten used to so much money, such a big honey pot, you just don't know how to live within your own means. And don't give me this baloney about having to put GoFundMe pages and Amazon lists together so that you can have the money you need to teach your children. We've been doing a little looking at some of these public Amazon wish lists that you're publishing and finding things like cushions for the kids to sit on and cute little pencils with graffiti and wonderful little award things all over them. You know what, guys? These do not promote learning. A hard wooden chair, a ruled line of paper, and a number 2 lead pencil was pretty good for us 50 years ago when we went to school, and we seem to be doing pretty well as a generation on most things. At least our education was a little bit more traditional, as they say. Now, regarding the Martin County School Board and the recent property tax referendum of 2018, we've done some reporting and investigating on this. People were calling us out on Martin County Parents United saying, who are you? You don't even show your name. I'll bet you don't even... Listen, I'm going to do this in the comment section below. I'm going to put the links down there for any of you that want to know about me, Nomo Mr. Nice Guy, and you can find out all that I've done for the past 30 years in this community, not only for the community, for my family, and the children. You know, as a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you one of the things we did. Through our business, we were able to produce over 150 individual computer units refurbished on our time and our dime to children within Martin County, spread out through the boys and Girls Club of Martin County. These children back in the day, before there was even DSL, high speed, or a smartphone, were in school and didn't have advantage of a computer system. So we made sure through the Boys and Girls Club that they had one. We provided a computer, a monitor, a printer, a modem, a free AOL account, and we worked a deal with Microsoft as a Microsoft partner to get these kids Word and Excel and PowerPoint and Publisher on the computers legally so that they didn't have to steal the stuff. Okay? We're a two-time recipient of the Boys and Girls Club Volunteer of the Year, and we received a special Friends of the Club award. So I don't want to hear about what we haven't done or what we think of the children here in this county. Okay? No more. Off the table. Links are below if you want to find out more about NOMO, one of the editors here at Talk About Martin. And by the way, thanks for being a part of the TAM Nation. There are some questions that need to be asked. The questions the TAM is asking revolve around your personal wallet, voter trust, and less than ethical standards of practice by the school board and the union. Now, this is an adult topic. This is an opportunity for the adults in the room to show the students exactly what it means to be an adult. The worst part of the story is how the referendum was sold to you and your children's future, with bright heart-tugging angels smiling while putting their hands in your pocket and pulling out whatever loose change you may have left. The article we did will show you what can happen once you vote to give a government agency more of your hard-earned income. And by the way, isn't your income pretty much going to different places these days, like more on gas, more on food, more for everything that you, insurance, rent, electricity? Think about it. Do you have the money to continue to fund this honeypot that they call an educational system? Didn't think so. We'll talk about how the ask for money by the Martin County School Board that we voted on in 2018 was sold to us as one thing, and then the money's used for things other than what we, the people, remember us, the voter, agreed on. Our goal is to demonstrate how actions by the few have greatly affected the many, and we're going to link to that story below too and encourage you to go read it. And we have to ask you, is there any more radical idea in the history of the human race than turning your children over to total strangers whom you know nothing about, and having those strangers work on your child's mind out of your sight for a period of 12 years? Could there be anything more radical than that? Well, evidently, yes, it could be us. But listen, it's not just us. T.C. Palm ran a story saying the same things that we're saying. Martin County, tax hike, teachers benefiting more than just teachers. We'll link to that because some of you seem to follow this lamestream media T.C. Palm. Sorry we're giving them any publicity here, but that's the way it works. The public education system's failing our students' academic, social, emotional needs due to overfilled classrooms, watered down content, and less individualized student focus because the curriculum is the priority over student mastery. Now, there is a solution to this, believe it or not, folks. If we just step back, close our eyes, take some deep breaths, look at the landscape, and do some situational awareness. Let's look at this. Micro schools. What are micro schools? Micro schools are typically small, multi-age learning communities that gather in private homes or local commercial spaces, often with hired teachers who facilitate a mastery-based curriculum. Sort of sounds like Laura Ingalls, doesn't it? Micro schools were gaining traction prior to 2020, but their popularity has surged over the past 2 years amongst the widespread education disruption caused by the pandemic response. Ooh. Micro schools are offering us a way that our students can get a more authentic learning experience in a much smaller setting where the adults involved have a true passion for teaching in ways that are best for students rather than being bogged down by pacing guides, student behaviors, and curriculum constraints. Parents are also welcome members of most micro-schooling communities. And sometimes they can set their emerging learning models apart from the school system, which tend to be centralized and, here's the word, bureaucratic. Parents know they are valued instead of treated as the enemy in a micro school. As many families consider, perhaps for the first time, and we hope it's you, and yes, you can do it. All you have to do is do it. Have some faith in yourself and in God, and It'll happen. Other education options beyond their local public school. They may be surprised to discover the variety of new learning models available to them. They may even discover, as more and more families have, that they prefer these education options far more than their government assigned one. We're going to wrap it up here real quick because we know your time is valuable. Why doesn't the Board of Education slash Martin County School District set up a GoFundMe for voluntary contributions to a teacher's salary fund instead of force of government by mandate? All right, folks, don't let them guilt you into oh, give us the money. We gave you the money. You spent it on things other than that. And the school grades have still gone down. We went down from an A to a B and you still had your money and you're blaming other things for it and say you still need money to overcome what you're blaming. No more, folks. Get your hands out of our pockets. Find another way to do it, people. We have to stick together. Thank you for being part of the TAM Nation. TAM Watchdogs, keep us updated. If you see something you think we need to know, let us know. We're out there for you. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks again, TAM Nation. Nomo out.